All right. Here we go. Okay. Hey guys, I might have to adjust the camera in a second. Yes, I'm going to adjust it a little bit here. All right. So, the most commonly asked question is how to make money from art. So, I thought I would do a little video on that today. Basically, just telling you how I've made money from my art and how I make money from my art currently, and some things that you can do to start making money from your art. Now, realize that none of this advice is going to be based off of necessarily the quality of your art. It's kind of assuming that you have already some quality there that people may want to buy. And of course, there's the argument of art is subjective or not, but you know, hey, Catherine. So, I mentioned in an earlier video that when I started off selling my art, it was pretty much friends and family. So I'd share something on Facebook and someone would say, hey, I want to buy that. And I'd be like, that's awesome. So there's definitely that. And then I decided at one point that I wanted to put on an art show. I'd been researching galleries and whatnot, and it just seemed really complex. You know, it was like you have to have this fancy portfolio that would cost, you know, probably a couple $100s to put together. And you have to have like a really impressive bio, you know, and you have to go in person and mail this ahead of time. And all, it just seemed really complex. So I was like, okay, screw this. I'm going to put on my own art shows. Long story short. So I did. I went on a Craigslist and I was like, you know, studio for rent. I found a place that I could rent for, I think it was like $200 a night. I was like, okay, great. If my paintings are each, say, $50, I have to just sell 4 and then I'm even. Plus, then you get your name out there. And this was back before really the days of Etsy and whatnot. So I started doing these art shows, and then I was like, if I get other artists on board, they can help me promote the art shows and get more people there. Because with my immediate friends and family, I could get maybe, you know, 30 people there or so. So I started adding on other artists, and then they would invite 30 people. So eventually we would have, say, 4 artists, and we'd have 100 people there. That was pretty good. And I would generally sell, you know, 5 to 10 paintings at one of those shows. They're kind of a lot of work. So, hey, Judith. Hey, Larry. And guys, let me know if you have any questions as you go along, as I go along. I may not answer them right away, but I'll try to at least take little breaks to answer questions. So this is how I initially started selling art. Then, of course, social media around this same time was starting to really pick up. Facebook came out 2007, so jumped on that bandwagon. I think I held off until probably like 2008 or 9 even, that I held off on jumping onto Facebook. Maybe it was 2007. Anyways, um, so I built my artist page, and then it was like, okay, cool. Didn't really become a tool for selling art, I'd say, until about maybe 8 years ago or so. And then it was like, okay, let's really, you know, start utilizing this to sell art. Um, so, one of the most basic important things I will say in selling art is have a price tag and have a way that people can give you money. Never have to turn down money because, oh, I don't take credit cards, or, oh, I don't have PayPal, I use Square Cash, or whatnot. Like, it just seems silly to me. It's kind of a basic thing. Like, I have like 600 different ways that I can accept money. If you want to send me money, I will take it, no matter what way you want to send it to me. You know, I can take a credit card, I can take PayPal, Square, Venmo, you know, Zelle is the new thing, whatever. You know what I mean? Have a way for people to send you money and also have prices on things. If you don't put prices on things, chances are people are going to assume it's too expensive and they're not going to buy it. So always put a price on things. It's very silly. People have this kind of idea that if you don't put a price on it, then it gives it the idea that it's like more important or something. It's just silly. Put a price on it. People will then buy it. It's not rocket science, you would think. All right, so then I'm like, okay, great. I have the art on Facebook that I just post, and then I have the art that I actually want to sell. I want to be able to feature both. So I've created an album for my for sale pieces. And guess what I labeled it? Art for sale. Self explanatory. So that way, someone coming to my Facebook page would go, oh, good. These are the ones that are for sale. Oh, look, there's the price right there. Fantastic. I would like to buy this. And then they would message me and then PayPal me, and then I'd ship them the painting. Very simple, right? And this is really before the days of Etsy and whatnot. Then at some point a few years ago, I got this really bright idea to start doing these art auctions online. And I got the idea I think, from doing some like fundraiser silent auctions. I was like, why not do kind of a silent auction online, and then it makes it into kind of a game. People love games. They like to win things. They like prizes. They like competition. So I would put up decide what paintings I would like to auction off that I could afford to maybe not make as much money on it as I originally wanted. And then I would put them all in one album on Facebook. And I would say, our auction starts now. Each piece would have a minimum bid price, and then the auction would have an end date. There would be a minimum shipping, like shipping $10 anywhere in the US, basically. For international shipping, contact me separately. I generally stayed away from international shipping because that adds a whole set of complexity. You don't really need that. You need to just start selling. So don't worry about international. Start selling in your country, and then you can worry about it international later. So I would say, just $10 flat rate shipping to the US. Minimum bid on this painting, say $10. And I would put the rules there. The bidding ends on this day, and it has to be PayPal'd by the next day, or it's going to go to the next highest bidder. And that actually made me kind of crazy amounts of sales and money within like a couple years that I was doing this, and I was able to move a lot of paintings pretty fast that way. And people would get into these bidding wars, and they would have so much fun with it. It was like being on eBay where you're bidding for something and you're like sitting there waiting for it, because you don't want that other person to win. You want to win. That was a very successful action that I used to do all the time. That's another suggestion I have. So I'm going to go look at the questions real quick here. Do you think everyone should be doing videos on YouTube to promote their art business? Not necessarily. So I'm going to get into like how I currently make money for my art. I just kind of wanted to get from the beginning up to present with the ways that I have made money on my art. So YouTube is definitely not for everybody. Larry Benson, I'm Mixed Media Girl on Facebook. So you can search Mixed Media Girl. That should come up with my page there. Do you think artists can have too many places to find them and potential customers get too confused? What would you say are the most important pages to have? That is an excellent question. My answer is no. You want customers to be able to find you everywhere. And some customers are only on Instagram. Some are only on Twitter. Some are only on Facebook. Some have none of that and need the in-person contact. So as much as it's kind of a bit of a pain in the butt to be able to manage all of these different social medias, it's worth it. So I would pick kind of one that will be your main focus, because it's like it would be really difficult to build up all social medias at the same time, realistically. So Facebook is my main focus. I'd say Instagram is probably my second main focus, and then Twitter and Pinterest are last. And then I also have like LinkedIn and um, obviously YouTube. Well, YouTube's my main focus. So I don't think there's possibly too many places. I think the more the better. Obviously, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. If you can't get to all these places to answer messages and whatnot and actually post things, then it may be too much. You may have to scale it back to just what you can do. But I definitely don't think that there's too much. All right, so I did a lot of these Facebook art auctions, which were very successful. In the meantime, continuing to sell my art in person. Um, and a lot of my art sales have been word of mouth, to be honest, like kind of referrals of referrals with referrals. There's also, of course, doing art sales. You want to kind of not do any of these things too often, though, because you don't want customers to wait for a sale or an art auction or anything like that, you know? So these would be things you'd have to kind of do every few months or so. Obviously, keep track of the holidays and use those for different promotions. So think about it for Mother's Day coming up, you know. I mean, Mother's Day is not coming up, don't worry. But I'm just saying, if it were, you know, obviously Christmas is really the next major holiday for shopping. But say it's Mother's Day. So, what is a good thing to sell for Mother's Day? Well, the vases, like painted glass vases, are amazing. Or if you do portraits, you know, do a portrait of you as a baby for your mother, you know, things like that that you can promote to your clients as being a really good gift for that upcoming holiday. You know, Father's Day is coming up. Let me paint your dad's jersey colors, you know, in a painting and do a sale on that. I would do a couple times portrait sales, like one day only, a 9 by 12 watercolor portrait for $50, you know, or whatever. And I would get like 10 sales in that one day. I don't do that really often at all because portraits are really not my favorite thing. But that's, you know, you then do 10 portraits, and those 10 friends are then going to tell their friends about it, and then their friends are going to want a portrait. It happens. I did a dog portrait, and from that one dog portrait, I've done a whole bunch of other ones that, like, you know, different friends and whatnot have seen that and they wanted their dog portrait. So I even did a chicken. All right, so let me go to the questions here. Oh, come on, guys. Go away. All right. Mixed media girl. Yeah, so thank you, Judith. You are the best. Okay, good. Okay, so that's Facebook. Any of those can be applied to any other social media as well. So you could do the same thing, although on other social media you can't necessarily create an album. Maybe like on Instagram, I don't think they have albums. Pinterest, you could create an album. So you could do like an art for sale there. Twitter, I don't think you can create albums, you know. Um, but you can take those and modify them in various ways for whatever the social media of your choice is. All right, and then I haven't done any art fairs. I'm just going to start off by saying that I've never done an art fair in my life. I have been in a couple galleries. I find it much more fun to put on my own art shows, and I still continue to do those, and I generally have other artists come on board, and you can make it into much bigger, you know, like add on musicians, add on poets, you know, put on your own little art festival in someone's backyard. That's a very successful way. There's definitely art festivals are also really good way to sell art. If you have it does take the time in the setup though. And so it's been something that I've never done because I spend a lot of time with my child. And I can't imagine like a whole weekend where I can just go off and do that. It's just not something that's ever really interested me. But, you know, to each his own, whatever kind of interests you. Okay, so then there's, of course, YouTube. YouTube is a way to make money from your art. You have to be able to gather attention though. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be willing to be attacked. As much as I hate that, it's true. You're going to get attacked no matter how amazing you are, no matter how gorgeous you are, or how amazing your painting is, or how amazing your public speaking is. You're going to get attacked. So you have to be willing to put up with that. You have to really love what you do, I think, in order to just keep doing it, keep going on. So YouTube is definitely an option. And I will be having videos coming out really shortly that go more onto YouTube, as well as I wrote up my how-to book that some of you know about. It's, I promise, coming out very, very soon. Okay, so there's YouTube. Then, of course, there's Etsy. I did not start making sales on Etsy until my YouTube got big. I'm just going to put it that way. I actually started the Etsy store back in like 2014. I never sold anything until this year. I mean, I didn't have anything on there until January this year, really, but I had stuff on there before and it never sold. So, Etsy, like, if you just have Etsy and nothing else, the chances that you're going to sell something are slim to none. You've got to, like I said in a previous video, that's why you need to get on social media. You need to make yourself known. Then people will go over to the Etsy store and they'll find you, and people may accidentally find you on Etsy. That is entirely possible. But then you're gonna have to get really good at doing like keywords and having really good photos and all that stuff to have it happen, I think, by total chance. So yeah, obviously there's YouTube. There's also affiliate programs. So that's another way that I make money personally. Once you get a following on any social media, you can start doing affiliate programs like Amazon affiliate program, or different companies have affiliate programs. Like there's some art, like some painting companies and stuff. Like if I were to sell their paints, they would give me this percentage. Or if I were to sell their art course, they were to give me this percentage and whatnot. I obviously would never promote anything that I don't believe in and whatnot. So the things I promote are only the things that I absolutely believe in, and that's that. But that's another way to start making money, but that kind of comes after you get a following on social media. That opens the door to being able to do those. Although Amazon affiliate, everybody and anyone should go sign up for the Amazon affiliate program right now, because you can do it at any point. And even if you just sell one thing on there a month, you're still making money. So I think everyone should just go do that immediately and send the link out to whoever to, if you ever want to buy any of these things, here's a link. So one thing, I'll go back to my questions here. Would you suggest selling on Facebook for sale and yard sales? I would not. No, I don't think it's effective. I'm in like 100 different art groups and for sale groups and whatnot. I've never ever made a single sale in any of those. So I just don't think it's effective. I think it's maybe a waste of time. There are apps like 5 Mile, which I have actually some of my art and jewelry on there. So that's an option. Maybe like a local sale kind of thing. Society 6, I've never heard of that. I'm very sorry, I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is. Okay, so yeah, definitely Amazon affiliate program. Then there's also things like Zazzle and Redbubble, which all of these things we're going to go into more like individual videos on. I just kind of wanted to give you guys an overview. Zazzle and Redbubble, and there's other similar sites. They're, I think, flippin' genius and awesome, because you can take your paintings and you can put them on all kinds of different products. So that is another way that you can make income from your art. It can be art prints, it can be coffee mugs, t-shirts, aprons, cell phone cases, etc., etc. And you don't have to do a thing other than set it up. They do all the printing, all the shipping, and then they just give you your cut. Now, the cut is not huge, but once again, kind of free money almost, because you don't have to do anything. Anything that saves me time is worth it. Like I could, yes, go out and print my own shirts for a few dollars a piece, and then I could sell them myself and ship them myself and whatnot, and probably make more of a profit. Is it worth it to me? No, because then I'm limiting my quantity. I can't go out and ship 6,000 shirts a week, but Zazzle could do it for me. So, all right. That is what Society 6 is. Okay, there you go. So it's just like Zazzle or Redbubble, I guess. Yeah. So those places totally. I think it's a brilliant business model, and it's another way for you to make some like really cool things, and then B, just kind of make money without having to do a lot of work. Like I think one of the end goals should be you create a piece of art, and then that piece of art can continue to create money and income for you for years to come. So, like, let's take this painting. I can make a video of me painting this painting, which I did. Okay, so I make money from that video that I made. Now, obviously, you have to build up a YouTube channel, but let's say I make $50 from the video where I made this painting. Then I go and I sell this painting for $30. Good. So I'm up to $80. And then let's say I put this on Zazzle onto some cards and totes and whatnot and prints. And from that, I make another $100. Okay. Like it can just keep generating income for you from the one painting. You can make money off of it for the rest of your life. I think that's pretty smart, personally. And then, of course, artists all have different ideas on selling their art. There are artists that are going to spend a year on one painting, and then they're going to sell it for $50,000 or $20,000 or, whatever it is, and that's fine. Some people, that's what they're going for, that's what they want, and those are honestly not the people that I'm talking to right now. I'm talking about to the people that really love to just create. You want to just paint beautiful things, make art all the time, and make a living from it. Those are really the people that I'm talking to, not the people that, you want to have your paintings in all the millionaires' houses and in Bel Air and whatnot. Yeah, you may get there eventually as well, but it's going to take a lot longer to get there if that's your goal. You can start making money from your art right now doing those things that I suggested. So, well, hello, Johnny Farrow. All right, we're about wrapping up now. Does anyone have any last minute questions before I go? I'm literally like dripping sweat. It's very hot in here. All right, any last minute questions before I sign off? Going once, going twice. Okay. And just as a little tag in for anyone that is interested, my husband is going to be going live on his channel in about 30 minutes on Johnny Farrow. You can click, I think, on his name there, and it'll probably take you to his channel. He's a musician. I think he's pretty awesome. Anyways, that's for anyone watching right now. And this video will be available on replay. So it's not like if you missed anything, you won't be able to see it later. It'll be available on replay in just a minute. And I will see you guys next time. All right. Signing off.